Robert, welcome back to your latest Manchester United news. Now, in this video, we'll be talking the latest on the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Michael Carrick stories. We'll be talking about a shock, the Juventus move from Mazraoui, which immediately shut down. We'll also be talking about Rashford to Barcelona. There's been some quotes from Fletcher, which we'll be able to go through as well. But yeah, we'll go through sort of what's come out from Manchester United in the last sort of hours, or not from Manchester United, but from the media about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be speaking again with Manchester United today. His agent is likely to be present. No sign of Carrick or Solskjaer at Carrington for possible in-person meetings this week, unsurprisingly. Now, listen, Manchester United, according to Simon Stone, who's very, very reliable from the BBC, want a new manager in charge for the game against Manchester City, obviously next weekend. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will have talks. Carrick has already had talks and met with Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox. Manchester United never planned any face-to-face or will make a decision without any face-to-face talks. So, listen, right now we know it's a two-horse race between Carrick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, more talks will be happening on the way. United are interested in both. Now, Darren Fletcher's not been ruled out, but in my kind of thoughts and what I've been reading over about Manchester United, it's a two-horse race really between Solskjaer and Carrick. Now, to be honest, I think there's both risks and reward with getting both managers as an interim. I think the two managers who understand the club, and that's been sort of the aim of which Manchester United are going for. Bringing in someone who gets the club, will get the foundation, and be able to kind of hopefully stabilise the club through this tough time. I think Ole, someone who's been in that position more kind of for a longer period than Carrick, and again gets probably a few more of the players because he spent more time with them. Obviously, Carrick, someone who's influential to the way in which Ole played, did a very good job as himself as an interim when Ole got sacked. So, listen, I don't think they're both going to come in together. I think it's a two-horse race between two of them. Now, as I said, we expect a decision early next week, so probably Monday or Tuesday. And again, whoever comes in will have a few days then to train the squad for the game next Saturday against Manchester City. So yeah, Solskjaer, Carrick is those two. They aim to make a decision very, very soon. So again, United probably, as soon as the Brighton game finishes, depending on how that game goes, potentially give it to Darren Fletcher. But ultimately, I think they will be speeding up that process and finalising that deal. And I do kind of think that deal will be announced by probably Monday, in my opinion. But yeah, let's see what does happen. But that is the latest there on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Carrick. Both in talks right now with Manchester United. Carrick's already met with Barada and Wilcox. Ole's going to meet soon. And again, it's looking like it's between those two at the moment. But don't rule out Darren Fletcher because he's someone who, again, can be in charge potentially. And that is much more of an easier option because he's already obviously been taken as an interim. So yeah, and Carrick has been involved before, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Marcus Rashford. Now, Barcelona have told Marcus Rashford's camp they want to keep him beyond June 2026. Negotiations with Rashford can begin soon with a 30 million buy option in place. Rashford is happy at Barcelona. And ultimately now, it was something that I thought was interesting because Rashford's a player who obviously has wanted and publicly said he wanted away from Manchester United and he wanted out of the football club. Now, what I would immediately say about Rashford is he's a top player. Didn't work out at Manchester United under Amorim for whatever reason, probably because he had a disagreement with the manager and ultimately couldn't fit into the system. But I still believe there's a top player in Rashford. Now, the concern would be he's on a ridiculous amount of wages. And for FFP, it'd be a good profit. Now, whoever that new manager is will probably have to wait to make a decision on whether Rashford stays or goes. My feeling would be he's a top player and he is a unique profile. There's not many people like Rashford. Again, if you do want to go out and get a winger like that, with a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 system, it's going to be very difficult to go out and get one. So that's why I'd probably wait on Rashford. Now, the downside is he's obviously openly said he wants to get out of Manchester United. He hasn't been... there's been concern over his attitude. He's on a lot of wages. He's obviously getting old. I think he's 28 now. But there's no doubt there's a top player in Rashford. But yeah, Barca have that intention to kind of trigger that deal. We know it is probably a bit under what he's worth. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I know a lot of people saying this is fantastic news. People are saying get him back if Ollie's back. Best attacker in the squad. Best result for all parties. But let's see if Barca cough up. And obviously, he's done a very good job at Barcelona. Would they be able to afford him? We'll have to wait and see. But that is the latest on Rashford. He could potentially be going to Barcelona on a permanent deal. Let me know your thoughts. Again, when he first left, I think it was right from Amorim to kind of let him go and express himself. He's doing a very good job. See if he does get himself in that World Cup squad. We will have to wait and see. But that is the latest on Rashford. Just the fact that they trigger to buy the 30 mil option now. Again, I can see the positives and the negatives of it. We'll have to wait and see what decision is made. But 30 million euros would probably be good for Rashford in terms of for Manchester United anyway for FFP. And he is happy at Barcelona. They're playing Champions League football. They're doing very well in La Liga. So, and again, it's a great opportunity for him to get back in that England World Cup squad race. If he comes back to Manchester United, again, they're under another manager, another process. He will play, but would he be able to get that England squad? Probably not, because United is so very unstable at the moment. Now, I want to talk about next this guy Mazraoui. I mean, he has been been linked with a move to Juventus. Now, this story has come out of nowhere, really. Yeah, it don't make any sense to me. Apparently, they've been tracking him since August, and they do really want Mazraoui now. Immediately, absolutely no. Mazraoui, for me, he cost Manchester United £12 million. Like, what a bargain. That is actually broad daylight robbery. Obviously, he hasn't played for United in a while. He's currently at the AFCON with Morocco. But for me, he's a top class player. And I don't know why United would even consider selling him. He's probably one of the best bits of business Ineos have done. There's a lot of scepticism when he came in. But now in a 4-2-3-1 system where he can operate at right back, I think he is Manchester United's best right back in my opinion. He's miles better than Dalot. He's a more consistent player, he's a better defender. And ultimately with Mazraoui, I think playing in a back five didn't suit him. He was more of a wide centre-back in that. But I think right back is his natural position. And I think he is certainly a player that has that experience, but more importantly, that quality to help this Manchester United team. So I would 100% keep Mazraoui. Juventus, again, if they're offer 30-40 million, maybe you would take if they do offer that money. But for £12 million, I just don't see a reason why you would sell Mazraoui, especially when you have not many fullbacks at the club. You have Dalot. Who else really can play right back? That's really about it. And also Mazraoui is versatile. He can play centre back. He can play left back. We've even seen him playing the number 10 before. So yeah, he's a very versatile player. I don't think there's any reason why to see Mazraoui go at the moment. But again, we'll have to wait and see what develops. They have been tracking him for a very, very long time. So it's definitely something to kind of look out for if you're Manchester United, because you've got to keep an eye on these sorts of moves, in my opinion. But I think Mazraoui, for me, should be staying at Manchester United. I think he is a top player. Now, the next thing I want to talk about towards the end of the show is Darren Fletcher's comments. I thought he talked very, very well about the academy. And I might do a separate video talking about it. But he said He said, we have some amazing talent. What I see is a lot of hard work, humble young players who aren't perfect because they're young and learning. We ask too much of young people in society. We have to let them learn, educate them, help them understand they will make mistakes. With good guidance, all of us play a part in developing them to be Manchester United players and people. My working with them as individuals and throughout the academy, I deal with hard-working, honest and coachable kids. Hopefully they can show themselves like Shea Lacey did. So yeah, listen, I thought the way that he talked about the academy, he talked about the Brighton game. He reviewed the game obviously against Burnley and some key details in that. The United game for Brighton against Brighton is a massive game. It's a massive opportunity more than anything. It's a big chance for United to get into the fourth round of the FA Cup and have a big chance of winning the trophy. And whoever that manager is, whether it is Fletcher, whether it is Solskjaer, Carrick, they would have a chance to potentially win a trophy and get United in Europe, which would be an absolute miracle from the position that Manchester United are in now. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But there were some interesting quotes there. He also said he's not spoken to Radcliffe. He speaks to Omar and Jason, and that's how the process works, which again I think is interesting. They have obviously a clear communication, but I don't think it's clear, but they have a clear pathway. You go manager or head coach, whatever you want to say, to CEO and sporting director, and they feed it back. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Now for the last moment, I want to talk about the Brighton game. It's a huge game. Obviously, the preview's already out, so check that out. But yeah, it's a big game for Manchester United, and I'm hopeful we can get the 3 points. Not get the 3 points, get through to the next round of the FA Cup. It's a big game for Manchester United. We know Old Trafford's going to be rocking, which does give me a sort of hope that United can go out and get the win. I think it is going to be a difficult game, great atmosphere, but Brighton, we know they've got the better of United recently. Obviously, United beat them in the last game, but over the years, Brighton have been very good and they play a very good style of play. But obviously, the 5 things will be out, obviously, on game day tomorrow. Preview's already out. Check out all the content coming out, and that has been your latest news. Peace.